Hello, welcome everyone. This video is about integrating Cisco Identity Services Engine 3.1 with MobileIron MDM or UEM solution to solve MAC randomization. Prior to ISE 3.1, ISE uses MAC address to query MDM or a UEM solution for retrieving compliance information. When device is enabled with MAC randomization connecting to the network over radius, MAC address seen by ISE is not the actual MAC address of the endpoint, giving inconsistent results, undesired results. ISE 3.1 uses GUID apart from the MAC address imprinted under SAN URI or a CN fields, common name fields, to query MDM solution for compliance information using MDM version 3 APIs. Already logged into Cisco ISE 3.1. Let's look at the live log. Let's connect our Android endpoint over the network. Let's connect it, refresh the live log. As you could see, the Android device with the Pavagupt as the username connecting to the network over ETLS, .1x ETLS, that is certificate based authentication. That certificate was provisioned from the MobileIron MDM server with the GUID under SAN URI field. The SAN URI is going to be used for retrieving the compliance information from MDM server. As the device was registered and compliant with an MDM server, the device got the permit access. Let's look at the configuration of an MDM server. Go back to the administration, network resources, MDM servers. Let's look at the MobileIron configuration. We provided MDM server name, authentication type, host name, port number, username and password in order for ISE to connect MDM server. Let's try to test these settings whether ISE could reach the MDM server or not. The test connection was successful. And now under device identifier, you have three fields: GUID imprinted under certificate SAN URI, MAC address, GUID imprinted under certificate common name. Earlier to ISE 3.1, ISE was making use of MAC address in order to query the MDM server for retrieving the compliance information. In case of MAC randomization, the MAC address seen by ISE is not the actual MAC address of the endpoint. So instead of relying on the MAC address, ISE could make use of the GUID imprinted under certificate SAN field, URI field, or GUID imprinted under certificate common name. That's how basically ISE was able to give you the consistent results instead of relying on the MAC address. Let's look at the policy set configuration. We were making use of MDM MobileIron policy set. Under authentication policy, all user ID store sequence is used, in which certificate profile and Active Directory was also part of it. We have 4 authorization rules. In case when the devices are getting authenticated, are not registered or enrolled against MDM server, they will be redirected to MDM server page to onboard the endpoint. When the endpoints are registered and compliant with a MobileIron, we're gonna give the permit access to the mobile devices or the devices and users. If the devices are registered but not compliant, then we are giving restricted access. That's how you saw the users are getting the permit access. The Android device got the permit access. I logged into MobileIron. Let's look at administrator, admin infrastructure, certificate management. We need 4 components basically. A certificate authority to issue the certificates. By default, it is going to have the certificate authority. with a self-signed certificate to issue the certificates to the onboarded devices. We need 3 more configurations. Let's go to the configurations. Let's add one by one. The first configuration is to issue the certificate or install the certificate of an ISE. So let's call it a name. Let's select a certificate configuration. Let's provide a name of it, and I've already downloaded the certificate, ISE certificate, and I'm uploading it. Click next. You can apply this configuration to all devices, or you can selectively apply the configuration to devices or users. I'm gonna apply this configuration specifically to my user. Select the user and select done. Let's add the next configuration to issue a user certificate to the enrolled Android devices. Let's select identity certificate configuration to issue a certificate to the endpoints. Let's give it a name. Let's choose dynamically generated certificate distribution from what MobileIron Certificate Authority. Leave the CSR signature algorithm as is. Let the subject name be email address of the user. Use ASCII encipherment. Let's add subject alternative name with the type URI. I want the user certificate to be generated with the specific format ID : MobileIron : GUID to issue the certificate with a GUID imprinted on the SAN URI field to issue the certificate to it. Let's click on the test configuration and continue. If the settings are proper, the test connection is going to be successful. Click next. As I said earlier, you can apply to specific devices and users. I'm going to apply this to specific user and click done. Let's add last configuration to provision the Wi-Fi profile to Wi-Fi configuration to the endpoints enrolled in the MobileIron. Let's give it a name, Pawagupta MobileIron Wi-Fi. My SSID is .1x. I want the users and devices to automatically connect to this SSID. I don't have any proxy setup, but security type should be WPA2 Enterprise. I want the protocol TLS authentication because I wanted to make use of a TLS authentication for this purpose. Under authentication, I'm gonna make use of identity certificate which was created in earlier configuration. Go to trust and select Pawagupta ISE certificate. Click next, and I wanted to apply this configuration on the user Pawagupta. Click done. We were providing 3 configurations. One is to install trusted certificate, ISE certificates or root certificates of an admin to the endpoint. Another one is user certificate to provision the user certificate to the endpoints, dynamically generated one, and the Wi-Fi profile configuration. Let's go to the devices. Let's select the device which I onboarded already. Let's look at the configuration. As you could see, ISE certificate was installed on the enrolled device. A dynamically identity certificate was generated and installed on the endpoint, and a Wi-Fi profile is provisioned to the endpoint. That's how basically ISE was making use of GUID imprinted under SAN URI field to query the MDM server for retrieving the compliance information and to give differentiated privileges to the endpoint instead of relying on the MAC address. Thanks for watching.